Powered by Fantasyverse. Welcome to Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. Each week, the NI Bullpen will be covering the world of comics, talking to creators, deep diving into some fantastic stories, and much more. Now let's hand it over to the team and turn a page.
What's going on, everyone? It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are tuned in for a very special edition of Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. My name is Ken M. You know me as the host of the ODPH podcast. I'm also Nerd Initiative editor-in-chief. To my left, you're right at home. He is the host of Wrestling Night Live every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Nerd Initiative, but he's also one of the featured Bullpen writers of the hardest working review team in all of comics. Please say hi to Rich.
That is right. Is everybody ready for a fantastic week?
Oh, see what you did there.
Especially in Southern California.
Ooh. Indeed. And our last member of our panel, it's in his contract. He has to do his own intro.
Hi, I'm Tom. It's too important tonight. Let's get to the San Diego Comic-Con stuff.
Ooh, he switched it up on us, but that's not a problem, folks. As Tom has alluded to, tonight is a very, very special edition of Turn a Page because happening this weekend in beautiful South Carolina or Southern California, I should say. I'm so used to saying Southern
He's
Carolina.
bereft with the words.
I am. But you know what? I'm that amped up because I want to talk about San Diego Comic-Con taking place this weekend. And definitely a lot of stuff is going to be happening. The eyes of pop culture are tuned in to California, taking place the 24th through the 27th. So tonight for Turn a Page, we are breaking down everything and anything that is San Diego Comic-Con that you, the comic fans, need to know about. So chat, super chat, let us know what you're thinking. We have a lot to go over. And when you start thinking about Comic-Con, you have to just go, pop culture is really making sure it's loaded up here. And you're going to see everything that's represented from movies, TV, comics, and more, all under one roof the entire weekend. I mean, Tom, you've been out there before for it.
Actually, I have not. I lived in San Diego for 6 years, and I have never actually gone to San Diego Comic-Con. Do you know why? People soup. It is crazy. The San Diego Convention Center is definitely too small to hold San Diego Comic-Con. And I say this, and I've been back here almost, 15 years. So even back then, it was still bursting at the seams. I do hope that they find another venue at some point because it spills out into the Gaslamp District, all up and down Fifth Avenue, all across Harbor Drive. You know, I mean, even IMDb has to go out on a boat.
They're on a boat.
They're traveling. But you know, when you have an event like this that's taking place, and literally it stops pop culture for a weekend.
Yes.
You know, it's going to keep expanding. I mean, New York is rivaling it right now as far as attendance and really having that grip on the audience, giving them a lot of information and a lot of things to be excited about for. And it really is the party of the summer without question. But when, Rich, you're thinking about San Diego Comic-Con, like what's popping in your mind?
I mean, the first thing normally pops in people's mind is Hall H. Then very closely followed by big announcements from studios because let's be honest, San Diego Comic-Con over the years has been the studio con. So it's kind of, TV, movies, all your big MCU mic drops have happened there, different announcements of that. Whereas New York Comic-Con is more of really in the word Comic-Con, like it's where comics shows up. Not saying that there's not things there. Obviously, we've seen a lot of great moments at New York Comic-Con as well. But, the focus of the world is more comics. But then again, the big two are both operated out of New York City. So it makes a lot of sense that Comic-Con is more comic focused. Although this year, it appears that San Diego Comic-Con is kind of invading in on the turf, as we'll talk about.
Yeah, because we're going over the lineup this year, and all the information you're seeing is from comiccon.org. The link is in the liner notes for this episode. And we have a lot to go over because, like Rich was alluding to, there's a lot of comic information happening there. I'm loving seeing it because obviously you can tell I'm a little extra amped up to talk about it tonight. Going through the 4 days and all the events that are taking place, this is one that really is for the comic fans. I remember this was like this a couple of years ago when Marvel didn't go because of Hall H. They didn't have anything to really showcase. Obviously, this year they're playing a little tight to the chest. But Fantastic Four First Steps is coming out this weekend as well. So there isn't a lot that they need to show up for. DC Studios is coming off a monster Superman debut, so they don't really need to go in there, but they do have one panel that we'll discuss that's going down in there that fans are definitely going to be excited about for next month. And it's really just to celebrate the comics this time around, which I love doing, and I can't wait to talk to everybody about it. This is a loaded lineup if you're a comic fan. And I mean, when you're talking about San Diego, though, we have to give an acknowledgement to the premier award show that is taking place.
Oh, I know it's not Roman Reigns.
Well, Roman Reigns too, but I don't think he's ever won an Eisner because the Eisner Awards will be taking place this Friday, 37th annual one. And this one is saluting the best of the best of comics. And honestly, this year we have a lot of the guests that have come through Turn a Page that are going to be actually nominees this year.
And we wish them all the best.
Oh, absolutely.
If the Pedestrian doesn't win, I riot.
Yeah, I mean, we have a Pedestrian where I know is kind of the underdog story, but we are excited to see how Joey and Sean do. Obviously, Tim Sheridan, Alan Scott, the Green Lantern,
yes,
Nerd Initiative Cheersy winner. We definitely are excited to see how that does in the lineup, and just what a celebration of comics too. Like to have that prestigious award. And I mean, I'm definitely gonna be trying to stay up late because all the times that are featured on this episode are Pacific time zones.
Specifically.
Okay.
Specifically.
So you'll have to kind of adjust it wherever you're watching at home because we're going straight off the information from the San Diego Comic-Con website. But kicking off the coverage, we're going one of the most top line comics you can find. Skybound Entertainment is coming, and they have got a loaded lineup taking place. Kicking off on Thursday with Robert Kirkman live from San Diego Comic-Con. And it's kind of the one-on-one discussion with him. I mean, and obviously, if you can get him there, he's got a lot to say. And going by the press release, too, the biggest Robert Kirkman panel in Robert Kirkman history. Want to learn everything about Invincible, including the new fighting game in the Battle Beast comic series, which is taking place right now. Walking Dead, Void Rivals, Transformers. This is the place to do it. So expect some premiere announcements going on. And obviously, this book that's on screen right now, I'm sure is going to be one that he's going to be chatting about. Skinbreaker with David Finch. So this one will be coming out. I know actually our GEO himself is eyeing this one. So guys, when you're seeing about this with Robert Kirkman, what's your reactions here?
I'll start off. I had the opportunity of interviewing him last year at New York. So he very much loves the stuff that he works in. We've also had him here on Turn Page. It's a joy to get him, especially give him his flowers, give him his due. He has a panel all for him, and he absolutely deserves it. So, to pick up on everything that he's going to be putting out here, I wish I was in the room. I wish I could, see where the sausage is made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Rich?
Super entertaining. Any panel I've ever been to with Robert Kirkman is always fun. Not counting just even having him on and being able to interview him was a blast. But we went to this panel, the Energon panel last year, actually the last few years at New York Comic-Con, and it's always a blast. He's a very fun, makes it lively. I think that makes a difference in a panel. So having him doing interviews where he's going to be lively about things, it's not going to be boring. It's going to be very informative, but at the same time, some people, when they shove too much information in, you can get you're not going to have to worry about that with Robert Kirkman. He's going to make plenty of jokes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you'll be entertained all the way around, plus great information, plus coming out with yet another big, creator-owned book. It's going to obviously break a lot of things, especially with David Finch being involved in it as well. I can say personally, everything that they're doing right now, whether it's the Energon universe or just everything Blood and Thunder is tremendous. So I feel like everything Robert Kirkman touches turns to gold, not even including Invincible or Walking Dead or any of that. You know what I mean? I feel like everything he touches turns.
Would you say that he's going to be one of those great names in the lexicon?
Absolutely. I think he already is. I think as far as comic books are concerned, I think that you would have to put him currently as probably one of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable. And that goes across not just the comic books, but he's crossed over into doing shows. It specifically shows more than movies, but there is allegedly movies on the way as well. It's just a huge opportunity, and you want to be there when he's announcing something new. Like I said, I enjoy Blood and Thunder quite a bit, but the new book looks amazing as well. And the Energon universe, what can you say? It's dominated pretty much the LCSs for the last 3 years.
It's coming up on that because it means 2 years technically, but they've had such a hold on comic fans, and rightfully so, because the top line work they do speaks for itself. And perfect timing to talk about the Transformers and G.I. Joe universe taking place Saturday, 4:30 p.m. It is the G.I. Joe Transformers Energon Universe panel, and it's the all-out war in the Energon Universe. So the biggest year of the Energon Universe is here. Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals continue to top the charts, and they're not letting up. Robert Kirkman, Daniel Warren Johnson, Joshua Williamson, and Sean Makowitz are going to be there talking about the Quintessence War, the Dreadnought War, and more, with a panel that's going to have everybody on the edge of their seats.
We are already.
Go.
Listen, you don't have
All
to twist
derpy
our
laughs. No.
I will make this statement right now. I think this is going to be the comic panel of the weekend, without question. I fully think that they're going to be having a lot to say because we know what's coming up in October.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Warren Johnson's run is ending on Transformers. He's handing it off to Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora.
Jesus.
So think that alone. That alone.
I'm saying.
Listen, as somebody who has gone to now 2 Energon panels in New York.
Yep.
Tremendous. Always, like I said, I put it over a minute ago, how fun Kirkman is.
Right.
But when you add in Daniel Warren Johnson, when you add in Joshua Williamson, when you add in Sean, like all of them are great together. And there's a lot of great banter. I mean, it was the first time we ever went to an Energon panel. It's right after Daniel Warren Johnson kills off Bumblebee in Transformers 1.
Yep.
And the first thing out of his mouth when crowd booed him was, he ain't coming back. He just went straight heel. Just was like, he's never coming back. And then my highlight last year was for my friend Tom, who was not in attendance at that moment because he was covering another panel. They were asking about who's missing from the G.I. Joe universe. And of course, everybody's yelling Snake Eyes except for me, who was like, Shipwreck. And I got a look like, all right, I like that. It was like kind of bad look. It was like, at least somebody's different here. Everybody else wants Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's still in my heart.
But I mean, like to touch on everything that they have going on with the Energon universe is always top shelf. It's always crushing it. And they have got such a big year lined up. I mean, that's the crazy thing, that as weird as it's going to sound, I don't think they've even scratched the surface yet.
Now, let's just ask this, because we're all such fans of this. What's the one thing you want to hear come out of this panel? I have my one thing, but what are your guys' things?
Rich, I'll let you start.
Oh, gee, that's not put me on hot seat. Shipwreck.
that is the correct answer.
Shipwreck. No, actually, honestly, I just want to see. Like, I think so far, I think Ken touched on it. They've only scratched the surface. A lot of this first couple of years has been prologue to me, not in a bad way, in a good way. Like, you're building the universe. I think now it's time to switch gears into to the actual what's going on. I think that's where we're going, because that's what it all looks like right now. So I think that's the exciting part. Is if you think about it, we've had some really great stuff in the last couple of years from the Energon universe, and I think that was just literally the prologue. I think that was just, hey, here's where we are. This is how we come together. We had the great introduction to the characters. We had a bunch of different, whether it was Cobra Commander having his own book or Destro having his own book, et cetera, et cetera. We had a lot of great backstory, retelling the history and tales, and even tweaking some things to make some things better across the board in the Energon universe. I think now that we put that together, we're finally getting into, ironically enough, Act 1. And how great is that, what we've already seen? I think Act 1, I just think it's all exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me personally, I am waiting to see for Void Rivals to have a closer connection with G.I. Joe. Like, they've obviously have got a strong connection with Transformers, especially if you've been reading the current story arcs going on. But I'd like to see a little more connection with that, and just how the dynamic would be. I know it's kind of a little weird because, I mean, they're in space and G.I. Joe, but I mean, obviously, to see them kind of have a little run-in with maybe Duke or one of the top members, I think that would be a fun thing.
Who said Shipwreck has to be on a ship that's on water? Shipwreck could be on a spaceship. Put him on Void Rivals. Let's go.
He just made Tom speechless. Just made Tom speechless.
So I'm going to throw a little curveball here. Now, knowing that, real quick, I'm going to segue off from the comics real quick. Now, we know that the Void Rivals San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figure pack is coming out. What I'd like to hear at the end of this panel is that the Skybound, Void Rivals, Transformers, Energon Universe figures are finally going to start getting translated into physical form. I think that the designs and the colors are beautiful, and I would love to have physical adaptations of this, reinterpretation of Duke, or, I just still don't want Risk.
He doesn't like Risk.
I have my own theories about him, but I'll keep them
and I like it, and I like your theory,
Yes.
and we're not going to shipwreck that either.
No, we're not.
But I would like to hear that Hasbro is finally going to give the green light to add to the classified series and give me the Skybound figures. That's just my opinion, and hopefully we're going to confirm that on Play for Keeps.
Well, we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. Super chat. If you've been reading the Energon Universe, what are you expecting to see here? Because, like I say, there's a lot of news, and with the talent that's going to be on stage there, you're going to get a lot of great things to be excited for. And going on year 3, I mean, it's crazy to think about what they've done in such a short amount of time, but that's a testament to what they're doing at Skybound.
Listen, not to give off subject, but we have room for Kirkman to do the greatest heel move of all time. At New York Comic Con, since he's taking over in October, bring back Bumblebee.
No.
I was thinking
it's a great
now.
heel.
No.
It's a great
Follow-
heel move in October.
no.
Just to stick it to him. He
Yeah.
said never.
Follow
Daniel
up
Warren
on
Johnson said never.
no. Follow up on Free Comic Book Day and give me Mask.
Oh yeah, no, I want stuff like that, but I'm just saying it would be a great heel move.
It would be a
that
heel
would
move.
be for New York though, because unless he wanted to do it to Daniel Warren Johnson in person, then San Diego's a perfect spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what they want to do, but I gotta imagine though. At least one thing I can say is one thing I will say is a lock there. I think the fans are definitely gonna give Daniel Warren Johnson his flowers for what he's done with this series.
Tremendous,
because for in 2 years, like he has put more energy back into this franchise and made it the premier book at the shops. Like I say, when you talk about the best book out month after month, Transformers is in that conversation if it's not the book. And that's just, like I say, it's a testament to what they're doing over there. So definitely kudos to them.
And I love everything he's doing anyways, because obviously being the wrestling guy, he throws wrestling content in every issue pretty much.
Yes. So, and like I say, there's a variant cover out too that I'll have to show you off air too. I think you'll definitely appreciate with that.
Yes.
But talking about great indie companies really crushing it and having a premiere year, Oni Press is coming with a lot of great things for San Diego Comic-Con. And the one panel that I was highlighting here is the loudest thing in color. So going off the press release, and for 30 years, Oni Press has been publishing groundbreaking comics and graphic novels for readers of all ages. Now coming off the heels of the publisher's most successful year of all time with the best-selling launches of EC Comics, Adventure Time, and Biker Mice from Mars, join a star-studded cast of Oni's upstart creators, past, present, and future, to survey the eye-popping slate that's making 2025 even bigger, still with creators Cullen Bunn, Brian Hurt, Melissa Flores, Daniel Kibblesmith, and Ben Winters, and Lysandra Vong. Like I say, they're loading this up, and they're promising more surprises coming with this. So Oni Press is really doing a lot of great things in comics. Out of Alcatraz
is a really good underrated book for a lot of people.
The whole Nacelle-verse, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, you're a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of Out of Alcatraz. Their launch of EC Comics was great in last year, doing a lot of the classic anthology style stuff. But I think they've really kind of hit their stride lately with the ongoings, and I think that needs to continue on. And I think that's what you're going to have with this panel, is them kind of continuing on. They're ongoing. Like I said, right now, Biker Mice from Mars is doing amazing, as well as the other Nacelle properties. And then, like I said, Out of Alcatraz is a book that could easily be on a lot of award lists in the near future, because it's A, looks amazing, B, has historical presence because it's alternate history of real events, and it really pushes the line in doing some good stuff. So Oni Press is just going up, and they're right up for their home office is right up the road from us. So it's always kind of nice to see something,
Yeah, definitely. I have to go back to the chat. So Grand Theft Autobot threw in Cobra Laws appeared in Void Rivals, and the original toy line delved in Space Shuttle. So maybe. Yeah. Which, like I say, Energon's got a lot going on. Oni Press has got a lot going on too. Like I say, they have a very filled weekend too. A lot of signings going on at their booth too. But there's one event that's going on that I want to highlight that they're a part of. Because we know about San Diego, we talk about panels, we talk about events, and there's a lot of parties going on. But this one that they're a part of, I think, is really one that fans should really take notice of. And that is going down on Thursday It's the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund San Diego Comic-Con Welcome Party. So Oni Press and the Nacelle Company have been co-flagship sponsors for 2 years now. And this is a fundraiser for the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. Mad Cave Studios, Kickstarter, and Global Comics and Rare Mark are all a part of this. So, Tom, what's your thoughts on this?
I want to be there. I got a major case of FOMO just for the party. Let's be honest, man. I mean, it's the fact of, some of my favorite publishers are coming all together and, are doing this. And let me tell you, folks, the parties in San Diego are just massive. I just want to be there. Just someone's, can I start a Kickstarter or GoFundMe, something,
Maybe you should do it.
I want to be where the comics are.
Rich, how about you?
I mean, it's a great cause.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is tremendous. I think it's great that they're the headlining sponsors. For an indie company to be a headlining sponsor is really cool. Also, shout outs to everybody else there. Of course, our friends over at Mad Cave Studio and everything thrown on there. I mean, it's super important. It is kind of cool to go to a fun party, but at the end of the day, they're fundraising for some really good causes and making artists and creators are getting their fair share.
Yeah, like I said, noble cause, especially in these times. Obviously this is a huge deal. So definitely, if you're out there, go support it if you can. And I mean, shout out to Oni Press, Nacelle, and everybody else involved with this. I mean, I think it's a really great cause to celebrate an already party atmosphere. And if we're talking parties at Comic-Con, there's one that always steals the show, and there's a fandom party going down with the All-American Rejects as the headlining act.
I wish I could swing right into that one too.
Yeah.
Tom just wants to go to all the parties.
Tom just wants to go everywhere.
It's networking. It's not a party. It's networking.
Tomato. Sure. But this is gonna be a cool one. If you have the chance to go to it, this is something to do. Fandom always puts on a great show, and the All-American Rejects out there definitely gonna be tearing it up on Thursday night. So, like I say, it's not all fun and games and comics per se, but when you can go celebrate with fellow fans and really have a good time, that's the way to do it. But there's so much great comic stuff that you're going to be walking away getting very familiar with a new universe or new characters, and one that is definitely taking the comic world by storm. One of our favorites here at Nerd Initiative, the world of Minor Threats.
Minor Threats?
Yes. So taking place on Thursday, 2 p.m., Minor Threats, a roundtable with Patton Oswalt and friends. So come be a barfly on the wall as Minor Threats co-creators Patton Oswalt, Jordan Blum, and others discuss the C-list villains and hench people that populate the world of Minor Threats and get a sneak peek about what's coming. Additional panelists include Heath Corser, Gary Dugan, Sue Lee, Hannah Rose May, Dan Hernandez, JD DeMais, and Timmy Haig. So this is going to be one to definitely check out. And up on the screen too, coming is the next installment from the Minor Threats team. You can see The Last Devil Left Alive. That'll be coming out in the fall. And there's a book that's on the right side, Archie versus Minor Threats. So Timmy Haig and Scott Kolbish are on that. And I guess we can unveil the secret. They will be coming on live, Turn a Page, August 5th. So
live?
Yep. So they'll be on here live talking about the new book and what's going on in the world of Minor Threats. And honestly, if you have not checked this series out, this is something truly special that I think that at first glance, you're like, well, I'm not really sure. But once you dive into it, it is phenomenal. Would you say, Rich?
Oh, I think it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a different take. I mean, obviously, we've seen bad guys in the front seat before, but you've never seen them like this. A lot of fun, great creative team. Not afraid to push some boundaries, not afraid to push. If you're not reading Minor Threats or you haven't given a chance to any of it, I think you're missing out. So it would be a great time to jump in, check out some of the stuff, because like I said, it's one of the most fun books on the shelf by far.
Yeah. Tom?
Again, I've only had the opportunity to do Barfly, but to see you guys, standing from the outside, how much the Bullpen as a whole go completely, shit eater for this. I can't tell you enough that I highly recommend that you jump on this now. God knows I have a backlog, and trust me, this is in it.
Yeah, this is one that I know Lauren from our team, shout out to Lauren, champions more than anybody. And the minute she saw about new books coming out, she was excited. And if you've ever picked them up, like I say, every series they've done has been a big hit. That you get something really different on the concept of C-list villains and all that kind of crazy world stuff that they're doing. But especially doing any kind of world building, it's always a tough challenge going uphill. But they have such a vast array of creators jumping in this universe. It's truly something special. And like I say, even the Archie versus Minor Threats, you'd say is kind of weird on paper. but I fully suspect that's gonna be a big smash.
I think that just proves that they've made it. Because I mean, Archie crosses over with everybody that's made it. It's pop culture.
Is
so
it,
I feel like
is it the Weird Al of comic books?
Well, Archie?
Yeah.
A little bit.
You know,
I mean,
you
if
get your
if
stamp
think
on
about
it.
And any major IP Archie has done. So I mean, Minor Threats to getting this opportunity just goes to show that there's actually enough groundswell for it. I would say that it's that, like I said, it's definitely a book that for somebody like me who champions the indie books and like things that are different that aren't exactly like carbon copy or the same as what we're used to. Minor Threats is that kind of book. If you're looking for something different, I'm not crapping on the hero books or anything, but like if you're looking for something different, you're going to get something different. Read responsibly though.
Yes.
It might not be for the kids, but it's a tremendous book.
That's a very good.
Yeah,
good
I
way
want to
to
throw
put
that
it.
out there. Do not say that I told you. It's not like Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang's for the kids. Minor Threats.
Minor Threats is not
for the adult audience.
Yes, this is very true.
Now, if also talking about other things, how things are different. Stepping into the future, we've got another panel coming up with Neon Ichiban, if I'm correct.
Yes, let's talk about that, Tom.
So Neon Ichiban, the future of digital comics and manga. That's going to be taking place at 3:00, I believe, also on Thursday, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So that's going to be Discover Neon Ichiban, and new all-in-one digital comics and manga hub from Comixology with vets David Steinberg and Chip Mosier, launching with a stellar lineup of publishers, including Dark Horse, DC, Distillery, Kodansha, Marvel, Oni Press, Vault, and more to be announced. Neon Ichiban fans read, buy, and sell and collect digital comics like never before. This panel is going to offer a first look into key features, including same-day releases, which I think is fantastic, limited digital collectibles, resellable digital comics, and Neon Ichiban's exclusive Remarks technology, where creators can sign and sketch on your digital comics. Like this is the next step in digital comics, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to affect the market.
I'll start. I'll jump in because I know you're doing some. Listen, this is amazing. We've all been fans of digital comics. I mean, we've been on Comixology for a while. I know most of us are members of Marvel and DC's digitals. And some of the complaints that I think all of us have had is some of the releases. Like, you don't always get same day releases. You don't always get some bonuses and additives that you would get buying the book, which, granted, that's a reason to go collect. I'm a collector. I love collecting books, but I love reading digital copies because then that means I never have to open my book.
Yes.
It sounds weird to say. That's the kind of collector I am. If I can have the book and I can have it pristine and I can have it on in my area, or if I'm displaying or whatever, I prefer that. So if I can read the book digitally, that is something that I've often wanted to champion. And we were like, well, why can't we do it this way?
Yeah.
And I know that for a while, DC and Marvel tried the just the QR code in the book, and you could get it on the digital at the same time, but then you still had to open the book.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird to me, but I get it. You can't always put it on outside because somebody just steal it, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, I feel like they're going to go for that philosophy that if we expand the world, more people will join. And I argue this to the point of, showing some age here in this room. Netflix. When Netflix came along, it was around the Wild West times where people were stealing things on the internet. And somebody goes, who is going to pay for a streaming service when I can just pirate it? And guess what?
Did he just say his age when we're the older ones?
Just
Let him roll. He's on one. Let him go.
You're interrupting me. So anyways, I think this is what's going to happen in comics. Not that people are stealing comics, but in this way, it might get more digital readers because now there's an incentive. Now you can get certain collector's editions. You can even resellable comics is also a thing. It gives a way to possibly, for people who can't necessarily afford new comics, you would be able to buy them off of a user, because obviously you're not going to sell them for new comic price if you're getting rid of it in your digital locker, right? Yeah. So it opens it up, and it also opens it up for sharing, because when I see resellable also, it says, hey, I might have bought a comic that I want Ken to read. Why? And he might not want to buy it. I can just send it to him, and we don't have to share names or anything like that. And I think those things open up the world of a lot of different stuff. So I think this is a big win. I'd like to see where they go. I can't wait to see where they go in the future, but this announcement, I think this is a game changer for comic books.
Oh, completely. I think that this is going to be one that is going to be the talk of the show. I think how we're getting comics these days too. I mean, obviously everyone loves going to the comic shops, but the digital market is there too. So I think if you can find something that makes that easier too, it's all about getting the product in your hands one way or another. But I mean, to see what Neon Ichiban's talking about, this is some truly groundbreaking stuff. I don't want to say the word game changing, but I mean, this is going to be some really innovative stuff.
Yeah, what they said.
Yeah. Although the one thing that I'm kind of curious about how it works is like, I get the sketch,
Right.
but the signing, like that's kind of weird to me to have a digital signed copy. I mean, that's just from my perspective, but I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. The sketch I get, because that's still an original sketch.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's digital or in paper, it's still original. Whereas the signing, it's like, how do you judge? I'm not saying that I judge value, because a lot of the signatures I have on books are personally for me. It's not to make something more valuable.
Right.
But there are people who do add them for value worth. How do you put value on that in a resale? Because if you're able to resell it and it's like, well, mine's signed, like I just don't. There's some of the questions that I need to be ironed out, but that's still intriguing.
But that's the beauty of this panel that we're going to find out a little bit, and then we'll just have to do some follow-up questions to see after the presentation comes out. But this is going to be one I think everybody should really keep their eyes on. If you can make it down to it, absolutely do it.
Oh yeah, agreed, 110%.
And then if we're talking Neon Ichiban, we got to be talking Distillery.
Oh.
And Distillery has definitely got a few panels going on, but Rich has one that he has definitely got his eyes on.
I got a bunch of them that I'm going to have eyes on. As a person who has the privilege of doing most distillery coverage here at Nerd Initiative, actually I do all the distillery coverage. I am always excited to see what they're doing. So Friday, the 25th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, get yourselves to room 23 ABC. That's a wild name. As the editor, the distillery editor-in-chief, in my spirit animal, and one of my favorite people of all time, Will Dennis, will be hosting a panel that will feature Jock, and I am going to butcher the name. I am sorry, Pornsak Pikachu. I hope I didn't do it too bad, because I do love their work. So reading off of the release, we would not be here at this convention without one person tirelessly working to ensure creators are supported. That's right, Will Dennis. Deadlines are met, typos obliterated. The editor stands at the nexus of the comic pipeline, straddling the creativity and the logistical to guide every script, Bristol board, and lettering file into glorious whole. This panel dives into how the best editors and creators harmonize to create epic stories that will be read for decades, while they taking weeks to produce. This is actually the unsung hero. Let's be honest. Editors are unsung heroes. Part of the reason I think Will Dennis is one of my favorites is he's got a gigantic personality on top of being a great editor. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's a lot of people who might not know who he is, even though he's edited some of the biggest books in comic book history. He's worked for literally everybody. He's worked with every major creator across the board. And I think it's kind of cool that they're going to shine a spotlight on that editor role, because I think that, no offense, because we have our own editor-in-chief here, it's a role that gets a lot of thanklessness. A lot of us take it for granted. I always make the joke that I self-edit a lot of my stuff. So I think that it's like unlucky and lucky at the same point in juncture. But it is a thankless job when you do have to edit, because I edit quite a other bit of stuff here as well. I can only imagine when there's literally thousands of books on the line, and you're responsible for proofreading and making sure everything goes through at any given time for 10, 11, 12, 20 projects, whatever it is, because they're not just doing one book at a time. And the fact that they have to go through and proofread and look at the art, look at the design, like it's like a lost thing. And like I said, Will Dennis, let alone the fact that I promise you, if you want to have an experience at a panel, and I'm all about fun at panels, he is the guy you have to see live.
He's amazing live.
He is awesome. It's going to be the most fun panel you've ever seen. Even talking about as stressful of a job as he has, I guarantee he's going to have a lot of fun there. And you're going to learn a lot of stuff. And then you have Pornsak and Jock there, and both of them are tremendous creators. Currently, I'm telling you, I just... obviously recency bias. I just reviewed the latest issue of Exquisite Corpses, and Pornsak is the creator on that book for that issue. So it's kind of like fresh in my head, and now he's going to be sitting there with Will Dennis talking about all the great stuff going down. And listen, if you have an opportunity to go see that one, go see that one. Also, if you have an opportunity on Sunday to go see Will Dennis is on Sunday, make sure you send. It's at noon. It's called the Jock Live Draw. Jock will be drawing live while Will Dennis commentates. If you can videotape that, if it's allowed, and send that, just not for sharing, just personally to me and or Ken, we would super appreciate it. Or if you're somebody who is with San Diego Comic-Con, please make sure that's one that goes up, because I guarantee that will be the highlight of the weekend as far as entertainment value for me. But yeah, I honestly, anytime you get to see Will Dennis talk, and especially about that art form, and I think it's just really the most underrated job in all of comics.
Yeah, a true wealth of knowledge right there, and especially it's always an entertaining palette. Distillery is doing great stuff, and I know they have a loaded weekend too. So especially capping off on Sunday there, we had to go find out the time for that Jock panel. Jock is amazing. You've ever get a chance to meet him in Artist Alley. Yep. He's fantastic to converse with. And like I say, if you're going to sit through a live drawing, like that is just something that you only find at a con, and it is amazing to be in the room to see what happens. But next up, we got to talk about Comixology.
Look at that guy, a scavenger hunt for you guys.
Yeah. So they have got a lot of panels going on this weekend, to put it mildly. So I believe there's 7 going on. You want to swing by their booth if you're there, because they do have a chance to win some free comic, scan for a free comic, and a chance to win a Kindle Color Soft. So they have a loaded weekend going down at San Diego. And like I say, one of the panels we'll just kind of mention is your horror comic fix. So actor Thomas Jane, Eisner Award winner Becky Cloonan, and Philip Sevi and Drew Zucker are going to be there, and they're going to be talking about the plot setting and characters of some of the most creepy and hair-raising comics now, and why we love to be frightened. So this is the Comixology, your horror comic fix. And there's a few that are like this that they're going to be doing this weekend. And like the Comixology line is one not to sleep on. Like I say, it's digital, but they do some fantastic stuff. I've had the privilege of reviewing them for quite some time now, and they always find some way to really get you talking, get you thinking. And every book they have coming out, I mean, it's not just superheroes by any stretch of the imagination. They really allow the creators to really run free and do some insane stuff. I know Rich and I are very big fans of Hardstyle Juice.
Yeah, Hardstyle Juice, great. Speaking of that, Thomas Jane on the horror one, the Lycan, I've been reviewing that as the resident person who does a lot of the horror stuff and Comixology stuff for Nerd Initiative. They've hit it out of the ballpark, and Hardstyle Juice. I need my hard copy of that ASAP, so work on that, Comixology. But outside of that, I just think that you have all of that wonderful stuff going on. Like I said, if you want to see Thomas Jane with the Lycan, tremendous book. If you haven't read it, it's a great time to jump in. He created it, great writers on it, and like I said, they really put out some stuff. They're taking big swings because the way that they operate, the digital realm has made them operate so well. And I do believe that if you're a horror fan, Comixology's really got your hookup, and in general, Comixology is just putting out some stellar work. So
yeah. Another company doing some stellar work, Tom, I know you're a big fan of.
Yes, that's right. The Dynamite Entertainment looks ahead to the next 20 years. Now, we're switching over still on Saturday, but Dynamite is going to have something going on in room 29AB. Dynamite's longtime top editor, Joe Rybant, moderates this panel, joined by founder, CEO, publisher Nick Barucci. Some of the company's biggest and most cherished creators throughout the years joined to discuss past classics, current projects, and tease what's around the corner. Names confirmed for the panel include David Avalone, who's done Elvira and Betty Page, Amanda Connor, who's done Harley Quinn and Elvira, Invincible, Red Sonja. Jimmy Palmiotti, who's done Blue Falcon and Dynamite, Harley Quinn and Elvira as well. Blake Northcott, who's done Barbarello. Our good personal friend here on Nerd Initiative, David Pepos, who's done Space Ghost and Captain Planet. Team Seeley, who we've also had on here for Red Sonja versus the Army of Darkness. And Uncle Tom Sinagowski, all right, from Vampirella. And of course, currently I'm reviewing the Herculoids, and other surprise guests may join.
I mean, you talk about everything Dynamite's been doing. I know, Rich, you're a monster fan of their lineup.
Dynamite Comics or Entertainment, but comics in particular is probably, I think, is one of the comic book companies that delivers.
It's blowing up.
It's like, if you are looking for something great, Space Ghost is, I know you said for Transformers earlier, taking nothing away from Transformers, Space Ghost is the best comic on the shelf. I will argue that point. If you're not reading it, you should be. And David Pepos has done an amazing job. Captain Planet is also phenomenal. But outside of that, like Dynamite just brings so much different stuff to the table. Once again, I guess I have a bias because I'm always looking for something different, and like I do a lot of indie books. So my bias is that difference. And there's something for everybody at Dynamite, whether it's Herculoids,
Disney.
whether it's
Don't forget they do a lot of Disney too.
But I say whether it's Herculoids, whether it's Space Ghost, whether it's Barbarella, which is a fantastic book as well that I've had the privilege of reviewing as well. So like it's always some good stuff. You should check them out. This panel should be amazing as well, and obviously they're teasing, announcing some stuff and announcing some people. So I think Dynamite's just getting bigger and bigger, and we didn't even touch on like their whole lineup because outside of that, I'm a big Thundercats fan and everything else, and they're crushing it.
I mean, Tom, you want to talk about their Disney stuff?
I mean, they're doing such a great job. They've got these great Disney villains books. So if you really want to get into your Disney villains, Zootopia, I'll be honest, I was like, oh yay, Zootopia, fun. I love Judy Hopps. Their stories are so much fun, and they take good twists, and I enjoy it. On top of it, they're also putting out Silverhawks, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And I mean, Dynamite has been doing such a great thing. Like Rich said, they have been absorbing all these great IPs into their publishing, and it really is something for everyone. And that's the best thing I can say about them.
No, completely. I mean, they've been having a stellar year, and I know they're back with a lot of books coming out. We can even kind of bury the lead, because tomorrow, obviously, New Comic Book Day, and Space Ghost Annual #1 is going to be the lead review of at least 35 on the site. So definitely something to keep in mind. And just because, is a testament about what they're doing. David Pepos is absolutely crushing it. Every single book he's on, he's absolutely tearing it up. And we know he does some work, as I said, at Dynamite, but he also is known to be working with the next company we're going to be talking about, and that's Mad Cave Studios.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they're kind of having a little different setup this year because they have got a lot featuring their Maverick line, their Nakamura Press manga line, and their Paper Cuts line. So a lot of the panels are going to be kind of covering all bases here, but they're like literally they have something for everybody.
Yes.
When it comes to what they're presenting in San Diego. A lot of great signings at their booth too. As you can see, the booth is on the screen. But the one that really kind of stuck out to me was the manga panel. So Manga Without Borders, the global evolution. So explore manga's worldwide rise with Nakamura president creator Mario B. Long, Fonlo, Viz Media, Morgan Perry Square, Enix, Josh Shippey from Harper's College, and more. So this is going to be one, like I say, they just started out with the Nakamura Press not too long ago. And this is going to be one line that you definitely want to keep your eye out for. And then literally everything Mad Cave is doing. Like we talk about, an indie that's really on the rise. Like they have been putting out some very quality books on all of their lines too.
Oh, absolutely. I enjoyed you could say they're getting real speedy very soon as well.
Yeah, Speed Racer and especially doing a Gotcha Man.
Gotcha Man. Yeah.
Are they coming through at the at Mach 5?
No, they're definitely coming in at Mach 5. Listen, I always enjoy Mad Cave. We've had the pleasure of meeting them and doing a lot of work for them as far as reviewing. Always very awesome, humble people. As far as like a company, and I think that makes the difference, and that shows the care that they take. Not only do they have a care about their presentation in the people who are reviewing their books, but also for the fans. They listen. They see what fans want and they kind of put it out there. They're not afraid to take big swings. I think that endears me to any company. We were just talking about Dynamite, same difference. They're not afraid to say, hey, let me go out there and get an IP like a Speed Racer and we can throw it out there. But also let me do original storytelling.
Yep.
Endless Night.
Yeah, Endless Night. Let me do original things where, we might be pushing the borders this way and that way. In one breath, we can do kids books or manga friendly stuff. And then in the other corner, we can do completely adult books. And it's kind of awesome to see a publisher that just goes out there, grits some great creators, amazing creators, and lets them run wild, whether it's, like I say, IP stuff or original stuff. And I think if you want to be a part of some stuff, check out their panels for sure. Especially, I'm interested. I'm not a big manga guy, but I'll tell you what they're doing with the new press it looks good. It's good stuff, and maybe bringing it to a bigger audience in the U.S. than it already has.
Yeah.
Now, I was fortunate enough last New York to actually be at their Mad Cave Saturday Morning Cartoons panel with everything going on. And it was just pure fun. It really was. I mean, now, again, I'm a little biased because, I usually do all the cartoon stuff, let's be honest here, for Nerd Initiative, and that's perfectly fine, okay? But the fact that they started off the panel, I don't know if I told you guys this, with they just kept playing the theme songs over and over, and they said, anybody wants to sing along, go right on ahead.
Oh, boy.
So, when like Defenders of the Earth, which we've also done here and had the interviews on Nerd Initiative, the fact that, when you hear our 4 young heroes pouring their worth for become a defending, and there's like one guy yelling it at the top of his lungs in the panel. Yeah, it was me. But that's what you're in for. And we again, all the flowers to Mad Cave. Seriously.
Yeah, seriously. If you're not familiar with their lineup, go check it out. Like I said, and especially here at San Diego, they have all their lines featured in panels, and especially the talent they have signed into their booth too.
I was going to say, stop by the booth.
Yeah.
They always have stuff going on in the booth.
Gorgeous booth.
Yeah, their booth is always on point. So you definitely want to make sure you go check that out. I have to go back to the chat because we did have jumping in. If we're talking Dynamite, we have to talk about the Supernatural comics. So shout out to Matt and Lauren from Hops Geeks News pointing that out. Because
shut your pie hole.
Oh boy.
Right? Isn't that what they say?
Like I say, when we have the Money in the Bank graphic, because that will be coming.
Listen, I'm only there for the Supernatural stuff, for the brawl that's ensuing in the chat. That's all I'm there for.
Yes.
I got my popcorn ready. But yeah, go see Frank and the team over at Mad Cave at the booth and grab some great comics. They got some great stuff.
I'll go watch Grimm instead.
Yeah. But we talk about great comics. Rich, I know this one is very near and close to your heart, as well as our entire team at Nerd Initiative. So that being said, I want you to talk about Magma Comics.
Oh, yes. Thursday, 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern or Pacific time. I said Eastern. I'm so used to being on the East Coast.
That's what I say. All the times we were mentioning are Pacific.
Room 25 ABC, Magma Comics Year in Review. And I'm just going to read from the release, and then I'll pontificate. Magma Comics has spent the past year bringing a wide array of creators, exciting passion projects into the comic market. Meet the minds behind several of Magma's thrilling titles, including newly added AJ Mendez. That's right, Mrs. Phil Brooks, Mrs. Pepsi Man, Mrs. CM Punk, Day of the Dead Girl, and then, of course, our friends Joey Esposito and Sean Von Gorman of Comics. The Pedestrian, and Megan Huang, the Scale Trade, and Amon Winkle, the Principles of Necromancy. As they reflect on their titles and experiences, Magma staff will guide the discussion as they chart the course for the final announcement of the panel, which better be the Pedestrian returning. Just throwing it out there, Pedestrian, my favorite thing in comics. I told the story. Go back and check out the interview that myself and Ken did with Sean Von Gorman of Comics and Joey Esposito. And I told the story about when I got into comic reviews, actually doing them after talking about it forever. And one of the first books that really got me was The Pedestrian. And when I talk about different, if you've never read The Pedestrian, it's the most different book you'll ever read. But it's also one of those books that I don't think I've seen anybody I've ever given it to or told to read it or talk to that doesn't love the book. It's this weird, quirky book that shouldn't work, but does. And why I say that is Magma is doing that across the board. They are not, when I talked about big swings, this is the company of the really big swings. They're not doing a lot of IP stuff. They're doing a lot of, hey, here's some weird stuff. Let's put it out there. Let's find where it's going. I mean, yes, AJ Mendez is a pretty big name in the world of pro wrestling, because she was obviously a great wrestler in her own and also married to one of the best in the world. But Day of the Dead Girl is a fun book. I had the pleasure of reading that as well. I know Megan Wong's The Scale Trade is immense. And Iman Winkle does some amazing work.
Yeah.
Amazing work. And the Principles of Necromancy is getting a lot of it. So Magma's on the rise. They're doing a lot of great stuff. And like I said, I'm just banking on finding out that we're getting the next part officially of The Pedestrian completely greenlit with dates. Because I think that book is, it's a little legend that could. It is the one book that is up for an Eisner that isn't one of the major superhero books for Comic of the Year. It's not like just the little, you know what I mean? Like they didn't just get the nod. It's that's the movement it has behind it. And even if it doesn't win, it's up there with things like Absolute Batman in the ilk. So Magma's taking advantage of it, and I applaud them for it. Great stuff.
The thing about The Pedestrian, especially, I think it kind of resonates with a lot of the Magma books. It's very DIY. It's very, pushing the creative boundaries. A lot of that stuff there is really, really thought-provoking in the sense that they challenge the norms. The Pedestrian, I think, does it better than anybody. And I really think that when you open it, you understand why it is an indie fan, champion book. Like I say, you talk to many fans that love the indies of comics, and this is up there one of their favorite stories because it just connects with people on a different level. And the funny thing is when you look at it, it's not supposed to, like, you don't know what you're looking at, but once you dive in that story, it goes into so many different directions and it really encompasses you and you just start falling in love with that damn book. So that's why I say you're seeing a lot of online buzz about it. And if you haven't picked it up, we can't stress enough. Go pick it up. If it's nominated for an Eisner, you know it's great. But we'll even tell you, like I said, we've been reading it since day one, and it's phenomenal.
They won't shut up about it.
No.
Hey, listen, I will not.
No. But one other book, Tom, I was going to say, a company that you might be getting interested in, one that is generating a ton of buzz right now is Ignition Press. So they have a very interesting setup. It's kind of like with their panel kind of going on. They're doing a lot of stuff very different than the norm. And especially, you want to talk a little bit about their panel they have going on Sunday morning.
So on Sunday morning, they're doing comics differently with Ignition Press. Now, fan favorite storytellers, Jeremy Hahn of The Beauty and The Red Mother, Cullen Bunn, who I know I've reviewed some of his books, Harrow County and The Empty Man, Leah Williams of Power Girl and X Factor, Stephanie Williams of Wonder Woman, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, and Tim Seeley from Revival Hack and Slash reveal details about their upcoming series from Ignition Press and why working with the upstart publisher is doing comics differently. Sorry, Rich, I'm calling dibs on this one. Plus, the first to learn about what Ignition Press has planned to receive a free gift for attending. Moderating by Ignition Press publisher Philippe Salik and editor-in-chief Jamie S. Rich. I am really looking forward. This is an all-star lineup, and for me specifically, have done books with a lot of these different creators, to see what this is going to come together, like some Infinity Stones or whatnot, and to put out some new stuff. I'm really I'm looking forward to this and then some.
Yeah, I mean, I think the presentation they have going on right now, I know their first book, Murder Podcast, is coming out. It's just wrapped up its Kickstarter campaign. It should be getting mailed out very shortly, and I know they have a couple more lined up, and they are really getting some all-star talent over there, and they're a company to really keep an eye on, because they're really coming with, the backgrounds that they have at the top are really knowing what they're doing with comics, and they're really finding a way to tap into the audience now. And especially the presentation they're doing at San Diego too. It's like almost like a pop-up store feel, like, for what they have going on. And it's one that if you're out there, definitely go check out and get familiar. One thing that we'll always preach here on Turn a Page and at Nerd Initiative too, if you go to a con and you're not familiar with a creator or not familiar with a company, go over and talk to them. Kind of get the skinny of what's going on, because you never know when that creator that nobody knows is going to be the creator everybody knows in a year or two, and you're the one that was with them with day one. Like I say, to have that kind of connection is amazing, and you see this a lot of cons. And this is one thing that we always enjoy doing when we go to cons, is go and hit Artist Alley, talking to people we don't know at the booths and kind of getting a feel what they're doing. And then you never know. I mean, this is kind of like how the Alan Dunford movement started. And he's now one of the biggest names in the indie scene. Like I say, a lot of things happen with our good friend Alan, who's due back for his 7th appearance on Turn a Page, I believe. 8. I know it's coming up.
18th.
Yeah, so one to check out. But another one to check out, Rich, this is one that's near and dear to your heart. And we had him on the show here, and they're doing big things. Let's talk about PCB Entertainment.
Look at that. Beautiful. Frost Road got kickstarted, doing some big stuff. Tremendous. The art alone in this book is a reason to not getting too sidetracked from the book, which I do have a copy here. But on top of all of that, they've got a lot of great stuff going down this weekend as well. They are going to be doing it's going to be Saturday the 26th and Sunday the 27th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in booth 4039. They will be announcing what they have coming next. They have teased it to us. They teased it when we did an interview with them. They have teased it. We do not currently know what it is.
Right.
But if judging by past, success, being this big giant monster of a book here, is anything, I will tell you right now, you're going to want to be a part of it. So make sure you stop by the booth, grab a copy of Frost Road. You will not, this Frost Road, I can tell you this much. Not only is it a good story, but you can put this on your coffee table and just let people look at the art. It's a very conversational piece. It's tremendous. But yeah, stop by, talk to the creators. They're going to be at the booth. And then also make sure you're there to find out what's coming next, because you're going to want to be on the ground level with it, because they're really doing big things in a big indie way.
Yeah. So definitely want to make sure you write it down. They're going to be at booth 4039. You don't want to miss what they have going on, especially Saturday and Sunday. So when that announcement hits, I mean, trust me, we're going to be definitely talking about it here on Turn a Page as well. Another one of our favorite companies is Titan Comics.
Titan.
Yes. So if you are very familiar with Conan the Barbarian and what they're doing over there, they have got some great things going on. So warning, Crom does not care about you, but we do. That's why this year's official Conan the Barbarian panel will be exploding with new exclusive reveals and free giveaways, exploring this year's unmissable comic event, Scourge of the Serpent. So this has got a lot of great things going on. Writer Jim Zub, Dan Panosian is going to be there. Dan does amazing. He's the one that's on the cover right there. Ed Butera and Conan YouTube director Sean Curley will be there for a Conan pack discussion, reveals, and special announcements. So definitely, if you're familiar with Conan, you definitely want to check him out. I know our guy Joey from the Soul Wizard podcast is a major Conan fan and has been covering him. And Titan is doing a lot of great books too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I just did one for them last week, didn't I?
Yep, I was going to say Rebel Moon.
Yep.
Rebel Moon.
Yep. So with Gail Simone writing too. So like I say, they have got some great stuff lined up. And when we're talking about great stuff, one publisher has really got a lot going on in the comic shops, but at San Diego Comic-Con especially, and that's our good friends over at IDW Publishing. So kicking off their schedule, Rich, you want to talk about this?
Sure. I'm thankfully, like this, the IDW has been one of the things that I've gotten to the pleasure of doing a lot of work for. And I cannot wait for a lot of this stuff. And I've gotten, fortunately enough, to read a lot of it already. Launching this week, by the way, Godzilla. So the Kasai era starts, and that is the big thing that's going down at noon on the 24th. IDW's massive new Godzilla universe has arrived, moderated by Aaron Gregory from Toho Studios, and featuring celebrated creators Tim Seeley, Oliver Ono, Ethan Parker, Griffin Sheridan, and Jake Williams, who is the editor for the books. This panel will be full of kaiju-sized surprises as fans feast their eyes on new art, plot twists, and much more. Don't miss out on the biggest new shared universe in comics. They're not joking about that at all. If you're a Godzilla fan, this is big. If you're not a Godzilla fan, don't worry. You can jump right in. They are changing a lot of things out in the world. I've had the privilege to not only, obviously this week, we will be having Godzilla #1 comes out this week, but I did have the privilege of having that early, as well as the other book that is coming out from the Dead Zone. It's a tremendous universe, and they've got so much more to launch. I can't wait to hear more news from the universe, and I can't wait for people to actually get their hands on the copies and be able to read it. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what IDW is doing with Godzilla and Toho.
Yeah, Tom, I know you're a pretty big Godzilla fan yourself.
Yeah, trust me, this is not one you want to sleep on. You really want to get on this as soon as possible. And especially, with comics, and when it comes to legacy series like this is one, like I said, you can jump right into. If you're not familiar with Godzilla and the whole lore, this is a great jumping on point. So highly recommend it. And we love IDW. I mean, I've been doing other books for them too. I mean, not necessarily in what we're covering here, but trust me, they're doing the work out there, and we appreciate it.
They have a great TMNT panel going on too, a great Star Trek one going on. But there's another one that, Tom, I know you're kind of familiar with a little bit. So let's talk about what they have going on with Beneath the Covers.
Beneath the Covers, the sinister world of IDW Dark. Horror fans, this panel is for you. Cosmic terror in Event Horizon and mind-bending tales in the Twilight Zone is just a taste of nightmares that IDW Dark has to offer. Moderated by my buddy Joseph Deckelmeyer, Twisted creators Patrick Horvath, Casey Gilly, Rodney Barnes, Hannah Rose May, and Heather Antos. Unleash exclusive reveals and announcements beneath the trees where nobody sees. Sleepy Hollow, 30 Days of Night, and more sinister stories that will send a shiver down your spine.
That was good.
Well played. Well played.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Yeah. So like I say, this one, IDW Dark, is a line from them that is really starting to take off. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees is doing amazing. And that is the variant cover up there too.
Yeah, the one to the right on your screen.
Yeah. So they're doing some very cool stuff there. Like I said, they're poised to have a really strong 2025 remainder of the year with the Godzilla lines, and obviously everything they're doing with the Dark line too. And especially the TMNT line has been crushing. I know they announced today on socials that there's going to be a changing of the guard after issue 12, but still they got a lot of great projects coming out. So you definitely want to make sure you're familiar with everything they have going on.
And big shout out to our friend Tim Sheridan, who's been killing it on Lower Decks.
Yeah.
I mean, just just massively.
Well, I was gonna say, like, especially like the Dark Line, everything. I've gotten, thankfully, the pleasure of doing a lot of IDW books. I just mentioned Godzilla. I've also done Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, as far as reviewing them, and then also the TMNT book. And some of the best stuff you're going to find out there.
Mhm.
And I'm really excited as a horror fan for the rest that's coming out from IDW Dark. I call dibs on a lot of the books. I'm a big fan of Rodney Barnes as well. So it's kind of like one of those things where you can't get enough of it, and they're just putting out more. We knew the announcement. The announcement happened a little while ago. I think the first inklings of it was a year and a half ago for the Dark Line, and then they finally launched on New Comic Book Day.
Mhm.
That was the official launch of it. They did put out. If you didn't get the New Comic Book Day teaser for the IDW Dark Line,
or free comic book.
It was
day,
free comic book. That's
yep.
free. That's a new. I'm sorry. I'm so used to plugging New Comic Book Day tomorrow. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. I got 50 things, but free comic book day. There was a teaser for the IDW Dark Line, so that officially launched it with the first technical official title being the Beneath the Trees Nobody Sees, Rite of Springs. So it is one of those. It's one of those things that you want to get a hold of, especially if you're a horror fan. But IDW is crushing it across the board. Crushing it across the board.
You want to talk about something crushing it across the board? Masked Republic and Headlock Comics. And if you have the chance to go pick up their stuff, you absolutely do. But they have a absolutely amazing panel and booth lined up for San Diego. Rich, you want to talk about this a little bit?
Of course I want to talk about this. Our good friends over there, literally. Masked Republic co-headlines the Headlock and Masked Republic Taking Wrestling Beyond the Ring panel on Thursday, July 24th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. in room 10 of the main convention center. The panel's description reads, for the last decade and a half, Headlock Comics and Masked Republic have been the driving forces behind bringing pro wrestling and lucha libre into comics. Host and also friend Denise Salcedo from Busted Open and Instinct Culture leads a discussion with Headlock creator Michael Kingston, Tales from the Road WWE, Masked Republic COO, executive producer, and our friend Kevin Kleinrock, the Luchaverse Wrestling Society X, the legendary luchador Vampiro from WCW and Lucha Underground. Of course, if you have not been reading one of the best books on their Vampiro, the Rockabilly is amazing stuff. And champion around the globe, Dragon Lee from WWE and also from CMLL, and Dragon Lee and the Monster of Salty River, which Kevin Garcia is writing, as they discuss what makes the stories told in wrestling rings so adaptable to the other forms of media and announce their slate of upcoming projects. I also want to say before we dive into talking about those projects as well, this is a booth you need to stop by.
Yes.
They have original prints. They have original comics and obviously everything there, alternative covers out the wazoo if we'll go. And also Vampiro will be at the table most days. Dragon Lee will be at the table on a few of the days. Danhausen will be at a table for a while. So there's a lot of wrestling celebrities and stars who have been in the comic books or they are going to be hint doing work with that will be at the booth all week. So, and with some really cool prints. We got to see some of the prints already. Oh my God. I know when they were there for New York, there was that cool Danhausen Takes Manhattan print. They've got some ones that are equal to that. So if you don't believe me, look up that one and trust me. Great guys. I love everything they do there. I'm not just saying that because we've kind of talked to them and built a relationship with them. I'm saying that because they're putting out some awesome stuff. Vampiro Rockabilly Apocalypse, I don't care if you're into wrestling or not, is a phenomenal book. Like, if you're into wrestling, you at least know who Vampiro is. But if you're not, and you read that book, it's punk rock vampire sold. It's got biker nuns sold.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say. They are doing some great work, big swings, and I'm excited for what's to come because, like I said, thankfully we've been privy to some of the information. But you guys got to stop by the booth and go to the panel.
Tell me more, Rich.
Tell you more. I can't tell you more. I can't give out any more.
No.
I love watching you get excited about this.
It's great though. I mean, I'm always, I believe it or not, San Diego's got me pumped to get ready for New York. I mean, I know it's a little further out, but I'm so excited. I wish I was there. I mean, I might just try to stow away in somebody's baggage and sneak my way in. I think I can get a pass. Kevin Kleinrock, if you're watching this, give me a pass, brother.
Wait, why don't we ask Sean Von Gorman of comics?
Well, I mean, I could have him draw me a pass.
we have ways we might have to talk off air about this, but
I'll sneak it. I'll put on the white. I mean, I'm a little chunky, but I'll put on the white leotard and be the pedestrian all weekend. I don't
walk
care.
500 miles.
I will. I'll walk. I don't know if I'm walking to San Diego.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little bit of a hike.
I still need a flight, but let's go. Who
Yeah.
wants to put me up?
You know, that's the great thing about what Master Republic is doing. I guess, hey, anytime you go to their booth, it's high energy, and like you're not gonna have a bad time. Even if you're not into pro wrestling, like you can go check out everything they got going on there, and it's still a great time.
I just have to say, if you don't believe it, even we get surreal moments. We went to the Master Republic booth just to catch up with the guys and meet Vampiro. And while we were waiting, literally Mick Foley is signing for them and just looks over and goes, "Hey guys, how are you?" And we're like, "We're good, Mick. How are you?" Like the most surreal moments. That is what you get at the Master Republic booth. I'm dead serious. It's
an amazing time. So you definitely want to go check that out. And now we're going on to a company that's definitely making a lot of waves in the land of comics. No matter if it's Skybound Entertainment, Ghost Machine, the Massiverse, we're going to start talking some Image Comics.
Can we put them over? Can we stop saying the big two? Is it time that we should say the big three? Because Image Comics kind of dominates.
You know, is it Tom?
Kind of dominates.
How about we call them the old two and the new one?
Okay.
However you want to define it. I mean, it's a great argument because Image is absolutely crushing it right now with its lines and the creativity coming out. And starting off with the panel, like this is two of the biggest books at the shop, Assorted Crisis Events and Exquisite Corpses. And it's all kicking off with a panel. Image Comics comic characters fans will love or hate to love. So that is 11:30 on Thursday morning. And this is one that, I mean, if you're seeing the graphics up on the screen, you know we're talking about James Tynion IV with Exquisite Corpses, Charles Soule with Lucky Devils, Brian Lee O'Malley with Snot Girl, Manuel Zulich from Sisterhood, A Hyde Street Story, Dennis Camp, Assorted Crisis Events, and many more with an in-depth discussion on character building that leads off the page and the secret behind what makes characters lovable or unlikable. So, and Jim Viscardi is moderating this. So, what can you say? Some of the best writers in comics are going to be there breaking down the schematics behind why you should love or hate characters.
Some of the big swings.
I mean, yeah,
huge swings.
Yeah, I mean, Assorted Crisis Events, amazing. Sisterhood, amazing. The Devourer was amazing too. Charles Soule, enough said. Like
James
Tynion, enough said. Like, I don't know. I mean, I could try shilling this more, but I'm going to be honest with you that I don't feel I need to.
Ken's speechless.
I mean, but he's not wrong though. You see the lineup, and that just sells this panel. And on top of that, you're talking about some really amazing books right now. If you're not reading them from across Image, because obviously Exquisite Corpses, Tiny Onion / Image, Sisterhood from the High Street Stores is a Ghost Machine book. And then you have Assorted Crisis Events and Lucky Devils are both technically just Image titles, but it's such. They're all over the place. Snot Girl as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave it out, but like they're all over the place. There's literally something for everybody here. Literally, you have horror, you have weird, like Assorted Crisis Events. Thank you, Ken, for getting me into that. But it is like one of the weirdest books, but it's amazing at the same time. It is like, because it's just multiple universe kind of stuff, but it's wild. And then Exquisite Corpses, talk about James Tynion taking big swings, bringing in creators for each and every issue, different creators on each and every issue to tell one story. Turn them into killer style too, by the way. Listen, if you're not reading those books and more from Image, which includes Tiny Onion, Ghost Machine, Skybound. I don't know. Like that's why I said big three or the old two and the new one. Either way,
you look at that lineup, we're excited. I apologize for messing up Adam's name. Like I say, honestly, this is a panel you need to get to and really get a true insight about what's going on with comics. And like we say, with Image, synonymous with some of the best lines in comics, Skybound, Ghost Machine, but one that's near and dear to our hearts. Tom, let's talk some Massiverse, shall we?
Let's talk about it. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive on Friday at high noon. That's right, in room 25, ABC. Join Massiverse superstars Kyle Higgins, Brian Bucelato, Nick Cotton, Ryan Parrott, and some other surprise guests as the crew unveils new and exciting developments and announcements in store for the Massiverse this year and next. Moderator by Ryan Sidoti.
I'm sorry. I normally don't break for that. That was epic. Kudos. Well played, sir.
Look, Ryan and I have a very good rapport. So.
I'm well aware, but I'm just saying, well played, sir. That was good. That made me laugh.
I broke too. But yeah, I mean, it's the Massiverse. And first and foremost, thank you, Ken, for getting me into it.
No, like I say, you're welcome. Like I will sit there on the high heavens and scream about this universe. I think it's comics' most exciting line. I think the progressive way that they portray superheroes in this universe,
Yes.
which we talk about Rogue Sun, we talk about Radiant Black, we talk about the Dead Lucky, we talk about Inferno Girl Red, and No One, and like the stuff that they are doing over at this line is truly game breaking. And when you start thinking about the other stuff that they do, along with this, they have this coming up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That looks familiar.
Oh, it does. And Tom, there's something to your left.
To your
To my left.
The paper?
The paper.
Yes.
This
Yes.
paper.
Please hand that off.
Oh!
Look at that.
Yes. So there is something to read with this as well, because this is from our good friends at Solus Games. And they just want to do the announcements.
Oh, it's just the announcements?
Yeah.
All right, I got this. And I'm holding, hopefully you guys can see this. All right, so the timeline. So if you would like to get in on the Massive Verse card game, which trust me, you do, it's going to be releasing on sale at Gen Con on July 30th. It'll also be available on their web store by August 30th. So you can get it at Gen Con early.
Yeah.
There is also early packs. And then August 30th, online play launches through boardgamearena.com. So if you are into playing games digitally, that will be available on August 30th. And it will hit the retail store on August 15th. So Gen Con on the 30th.
Yep.
So right around the corner. Then August 30th on the web store. August 30th also in digital form on boardgamearena.com. And last but not least, October 15th, you will be able to get your hands on the packs for the Massive Verse game. This is a great game.
Yeah.
I know that we've been privy to have this. I know we have to have Diesel look at it and get to break it down and probably break the game. Because let's be honest, if anybody's going to break the game and become probably
Diesel.
the pro player of all of us, it's going to be Diesel. But the art on the cards is phenomenal. The quality is amazing, and it's super fun. And get it now. If you are at Gen Con, get your copies. If not, mark August 30th on your calendar. Order on the web store. If you want to support the retailers, of course, and always support the retailers, the 15th of October. And I'm assuming it'll also be at New York Comic Con because it's around the same time.
Because I'm wondering what if they'll do anything special at New York for it since
They
it
might.
just drops.
Yeah,
I'm going to speculate here.
You might want to keep an eye on Nerd Initiative because I think there will be a live play happening sooner than later.
Yes.
So-
Actually, I have to look at the game more than just looking through it, and I could probably
Because
I
you
played a
get
lot of
wowed
it.
by the art. You get
Well,
wowed by the
I
art.
get wowed by the art, but on top of that, I let's be honest, I played a lot of Magic the Gathering, and it's a card game, so it's built in the similar ilk of Magic, which most card TBG games.
It's a
are,
deck
so,
builder,
Yeah, it's a deck builder game. It's normal, so that's why I said I'm more than game to do some game playing with people, and trust me, it's. But I looked at him, and instead of figuring out the game, I instantly went, "Ooh,
Shiny."
Yeah.
the card, the
They're
art is
Yes,
beautiful."
you can't go wrong.
And
with
as
it.
somebody who does play a lot of like trading card games, the quality of the cards is perfect. I got to bring some sleeves over so we don't mess up the cards.
Yeah.
That's about it. But yeah, it's tremendous. Get on board.
But definitely want to shout out Solus Games Studios for sending that over. And then, I mean, obviously, we're talking about Massiverse. They did announce that Medieval Spawn is going to be making an appearance in Rogue Sun 30.
Ooh.
So this is going to be something when we talk to Ryan. I mean, if you talk to him at the panel, I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about this because that's from the official Image press release. But we definitely have to catch up with them about that and what they're doing in this universe too. Like I said, Radiant Black is just wrapping up that first arc with the new villain Jaeger. And then Rogue Sun is going to be stopping at 30, taking a little hiatus, but coming back in October as well. Probably perfect time for New York Comic Con. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. If you're not familiar with this line, make sure you get familiar quick. This is a perfect time to catch up because they have a lot of things coming. And literally, you will not be disappointed of how they're reinventing what we perceive as superhero comic books.
And we love those guys, even Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. So also coming from Image Comics, I mean, there's another panel we have to discuss. Rich, you want to take this one?
Sure, why not? Image Comics, storytelling, genre, and crafting unforgettable comics. Room 10, the main convention center. Join Jerry Dugan, Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, Kurt Pyers, Lost Fantasy, Chris Condon, That Texas Blood, and News from the Fallout. By the way, if you're not reading that, you should be. And Tony Fleeks, of course, friend and of course, a man that is near and dear to Tom's heart, for Farrell and Local Man, amongst others, for a freewheeling conversation amongst some of the top talent in comics industry as they discuss genre, storytelling, industry secrets, and tricks of the trade. It will be moderated by Jim Viscardi, VP of Business Development at Image Comics. Listen, this is another one of those panels. This is one of those ones when we talk about fans and people who are more on the industry side. This is a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Some great books here, some great creators who create a lot of stuff. I mean, everybody that I just listed, you can name 50 books for. And so that's a wealth of knowledge. So if you want to get into creating comics, if you're an indie comic book creator, somebody who might be thinking about becoming a comic book creator, this is also a panel you want to be in on, because all the people on this panel came that route. They came through a system and they've made a lot of stuff, and they're making very talented stuff. And once again, if you're a fan, though, you get to hear them talk about some great work. So that's one of those column A, column B. So I would definitely be in the house for that as well.
Prime example, again, like Rich said, I've been such a huge fan of Farrell. You know, the fact that it is a zombie book, number one. On top of it, it is a group book. And I mean, there's at least half a dozen characters that they spin through on every single issue, but everybody gets their time to shine. And just because they're cats does not mean that they can't have personalities. And, we had Tony on here, and very fortunate to have the opportunity to chat with him. And I am look, we got the new comic coming out tomorrow. I've already done my review for it. Just go to this panel. These guys know how to write characters, and they know, what they're doing. And in this, every comic book nowadays, you kind of have an idea of, well, it might go here and it might go there, but these guys know how to write something you haven't seen before.
Yeah. I mean, we had the pleasure of going to this one on Sunday at New York Comic Con last year with Jason Aaron, was there with Charles Soule and Ryan Brown and company. And like I say, it was a really informative panel. So if you want to get some true insight about what's going on in comics, this is the one to go. Image has got such a loaded lineup too. So you definitely want to make sure you go check out everything they're doing. Like I said, with the Skybound Entertainment stuff. And I mean, Ghost Machine, I believe, has got a booth set up too. So definitely go out and support what Image is doing. Because like I say, they're really pushing a lot of great things on the indie scene right now. Todd McFarlane's got stuff going on too. Like I say, yeah, like I said, I could get ranting and raving, but we mentioned about the big two. It's time to bring it on home and really break down what they have going on, because DC Comics is definitely bringing a lot to San Diego.
Would you say they're going all in?
They are, but actually, before we get there is one other panel, Tom, we forgot to talk about, and that's your good buddies over at Boom Studios.
That's right. Boom Studios has a lot going on for San Diego Comic-Con. They've got the new era of Power Rangers on Thursday. We know that Melissa Flores is going to be there, and we're going to find out what's going on. They just announced today. Also, we've got a Halloween comic coming up with the return of the Pumpkin Rapper. There's a Prime Videos Butterfly presented with Boom Studios on Friday. That's going to be from 1:30 to 2:30, and then Comics for Everyone on Friday from 3:30 to 4, and then of course Something Killing the Children, that's more up Ken's line.
Yes.
The Slaughterverse, that's going to be on Saturday, early on Saturday. So they're going to twist your mind on Saturday just a little bit early from 10 a.m. to 11. All of Boom Studios, they've got so much going on. They've got a lot of great runs going on. You really want to get in here. They've been doing this for 2 decades now, and they just keep going. I'm still really interested in what they're doing with Power Rangers, especially with that new miniseries they're doing with VR Troopers. Again, they're doing the stuff, they're doing the work, and trust me, it goes boom.
Indeed, they're doing some phenomenal work on the indie scene. And like I say, the Slaughterverse panel is one you don't want to miss. I'm expecting big news to come out of that one.
It'll have you grinning from ear to ear.
Oh yeah, trust me. I will be in my happy place with that, because I love that series. But then, as we alluded to, we talked about DC Comics kicking off their coverage. DC All In, what's next? 11:30 on Thursday morning. And as you're seeing on the screen, there's a lot to be had here. So join Joshua Williamson, Scott Snyder, Mark Waid, and other top DC storytellers in the Canvas panel that deep dives into the core and absolute comics for 2025 and beyond. Panelists include Jeff Lemire, Hayden Sherman, Dennis Camp, Jeremy Adams, and more. So obviously, as you're seeing on the screen, highlighting a lot of the Absolute Universe. And with the Absolute Universe, that's Absolute Evil, the cover in the center. We have Absolute Catwoman on the left. And then one of the best books on the shelves, bar none, if you're not reading an absolute Martian Manhunter, I don't know what you're doing. This has really revolutionized how you look at the legendary DC hero. And trust me, they're going to have a lot of information going on with that. So something to keep in mind of as we're going into, I mean, the Absolute Universe, DC Comics, absolutely crushing it right now. But next up, Rich, we got to talk about an animated short a little
Batman.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
Got some Batman. 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Batman Aztec Choca de Empresarios. It's going to be from Warner Brothers Animation Panel, so it is a Warner Brothers Animation movie. It's going to be in room 6 BCF. Let's read the release. A look at the highly anticipated animated movie Batman Aztec Choca de Empresarios. Join members of the cast and the creative team as they share footage and provide an inside look at how they are bringing the world of Batman into captivating history and culture of Mesoamerica. Batman Aztec Choca de Empresarios is an original animated feature-length film that places the iconic DC superhero against the backdrop of the captivating history of Mexico and immerses fans around the world in the exciting culture of Mesoamerica. In the time of the Aztec Empire, Yohali Kotel, a young Aztec boy, experiences tragedy when his father and village leader Tolokatzin is murdered by Spanish conquistadors. Yohali escapes to Tenochtitlan to warn King Montezuma and his high priest Yoka of the imminent danger. Using the bat god Tezun's temple as a lair, Yohali trains with his mentor and assistant Actizin, developing equipment and weaponry to confront the Spaniard invasion and to protect Montezuma's temple and avenge his father's death. Like I said, it is produced by Warner Brothers Animation, Anime Shortron, and of course, it is a crowd film based on characters from DC.
Yeah, so obviously, Tom, DC Animation, what can you talk about that?
I love DC Animation. I like the fact that I'll be the first one to say it. I'm glad we're out of the Tomorrowverse and they're finally getting back to, the stuff that we've seen before that. They're definitely, their style is much different, and I'm really invested in what they're bringing out. We just had Batman. What was it? Batman Yakuza 2 just came out, and so it'll have that same animation and feel and style to it. So again, the fact that we're taking DC and we're not instantly jumping right back into, the regular type of ideas that we get as supers, and we're, playing with this, doing the Elseworlds kind of stuff, I'm interested in highly anticipating how this is just going to go gangbusters.
Yeah, this is going to be something to truly keep an eye on for. I love Batman Ninja and the Yakuza League and everything they've been doing with that franchise. Definitely can't wait to check that out. Or check out the new project, should I say. Mm-hmm. Then obviously we're going into the land of Metropolis. Obviously Superman is definitely doing his thing at the movies, but in the comics world, it's absolutely tearing it up right now. DC Comics Metropolis and Beyond. So 11:15 on Saturday morning. And this panel, join a legion of celebrated DC comic book creators for this fun panel to discuss Superman. So honorated by Paul Kaminsky. Panelists include Joshua Williamson, Dan Jurgens, Mark Waid, Dan Slott, Philip Kennedy Johnson, and more. So the Superman line is absolutely crushing it right now. It's been some of the best Superman stories you've been able to read. All three featured here have been, like I say, they stand on their own for doing great things. Really taking the Man of Steel into some different places, but it's been such an enjoyable ride to watch. So definitely excited about that. You guys, I know, are big fans of Superman.
Yes.
So definitely, like I say, there's a lot happening there. And then
Batman.
We go to Batman. We go to Gotham City. And then walk in on the dark and gritty streets of DC Universe with top comic creators for surprises involving Batman and other projects, protectors of Gotham City. Panelists include Matt Fraction, Scott Snyder, Nick Dragata, Kyle Higgins, Daniel Warren Johnson, and more. So the picture on the left there is Immortal Legend Batman. So that's the new project Kyle Higgins is working on. And then Matt Fraction's new #1 of Batman is going to be debuting there with Jorge Jimenez on the art. So, Tom, you're seeing this. I mean, what's your reaction?
It's Toku Batman, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing that Kyle and Matt are working both on this project, I mean, I am so looking forward to this. I looked at it originally and had some Azrael vibes to begin with, that big, heavy, 90s armor, but seeing how nice and sleek and sexy this is. And with Kyle and Matt both writing this, they're going to do the work. And I'm all for it. Seriously, just hand me a Batarang.
Yeah, no, this is going to be one. Like I said, Batman line is absolutely crushing it right now, especially with the transition. Detective Comics, I can't speak enough about it. I think that might be my favorite Batman book on the shelves, along with Batman Dark Patterns by Dan Waters and Hayden Sherman. Like that book is on a whole different level of storytelling. So definitely go check that out. And then the only panel actually we're going to talk about for Hall H.
Oh.
So this is one, Rich, if you want to take this one, because
oh man, I get to talk about Hall H. This is fantastic and always fun. And let's be honest, it's weird that this is the only panel we're talking about at Hall H, but let's be honest, this deserves it because it is Peacemaker sneak peek and panel, 3:30 p.m., 4:30 to 4:30 p.m. Sorry, and it is produced, of course, by HBO Max. That's right, it's back to being HBO Max, so their poster is even wrong. And DC Studios panel. Panelists will include James Gunn, co-head of DC Studios, executive producer, writer, director, John Cena, your reigning, undisputed, never seen 17 WWE champion, Peacemaker himself. He's also an executive producer on the show. Danielle Brooks Adebayo, Jennifer Howland, who plays Harcourt, Freddie Stroma, who plays Vigilante, Steve Agee, who plays Economist, Frank Grillo, who's playing Rick Flag Sr., Sol Rodriguez, who plays Sasha Bordeaux, and the legendary funny Tim Meadows playing Langston Fleury. Wow, I said that almost wrong. The highly anticipated global trailer for season 2 of the series will be released during the panel, which will be moderated by Josh Horowitz of MTV and the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. This is big news. Everybody loves Peacemaker.
Mhm.
I think it's enough times gone by. We had a cameo appearance of Peacemaker in a gigantic movie involving somebody in a blue, red, and yellow suit.
And trunks.
Yes. And to a funny one, which was perfect. I thought it was a perfect cameo. And it really got more people talking again. Peacemaker's a beloved character. Like, who would have thought out of the Suicide Squad we would end up with Peacemaker being the beloved character? And John Cena, because he's not afraid to be a goofball, pulls it off amazingly well.
Yeah, he's given heart to a D-list character, but it works, and it works on a whole different level. I mean, now even Peacemaker's making the rounds in the comics, different reasons. But you know, the thing about this show is, it's James Gunn formula to the T. It's got humor, it's got heart, it has everything that makes you care about characters.
Yes,
and this is what we've seen a lot in the Superman movie that's come out right now.
And don't forget this. Remember, Peacemaker was the beginning of James Gunn's technical James Gunn averse.
Yes,
if you think about it, and because James Gunn being James Gunn, if you remember seeing in that teaser, Sean Gunn is also going to be in there as Maxwell Lord as well.
Yes. So there's a lot of fun things to be had with the show, especially 11 Superman and the direction DC Studios is going in. This is going to be one to watch.
And James Gunn also did mention that the effects of Superman will carry over to Peacemaker as well.
As it should, because it should be all connected. But the last DC panel I have on the list here is one that, well, it's always a fun time when Jim Lee and friends get together. So Jim Lee is on hand to bring out a few of his friends and discuss and reveal what they will have everyone talking long after con is over. So last year, I mean, we talked about New York Comic Con. That's when they announced about Hush 2 was coming.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what to expect with this one, but I think this is going to definitely generate a lot of buzz amongst the comic fans, because Jim is going to be bringing some friends out. It's not going to be just a reminiscent discussion. I think they're going to drop some real knowledge about some plans that are really going to shake up the comic industry as we know it. So I'm excited to hear what he's got to say. And I mean, DC coming with a lineup, but last but certainly not least, we have to talk about the House of Ideas. Marvel Comics is loaded with panels. They got stuff covering Marvel Rivals. CB Sobalski's doing the Marvel Fanfare one, which is always him with a surprise guest talking one-on-one. They got the new arcade mobile game, I believe, going on too.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 3 that jumped out to me. And Rich, I'll let you take the first one here because we're talking X-Men at 1:45 on Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. 1:45 in room 6A, Marvel Comics X-Men. The next big X Universe saga, Age of Revelation, is coming, and mutant kind is not ready. The X-Men have risen from the ashes, but what is the disastrous threat that lies in their future? Find out as Editor-in-Chief CB Sobalski, conductor of X Tom Brevard, and lineup of uncanny talent, including David Marquez and Ryan North, shed light on the Calamitous new epic. Calamitous. Wow, that's a weird.
That's a
choice. That was a weird choice. Calamitous new epic with first looks reveals insight on the titles leading into the event and more. Plus attendees who stay until the end. Remember, that's a big thing.
Yes.
Always stay until the end. Will receive an exclusive giveaway comic book, and I'm assuming it will be exquisite.
I think it could be. It won't be Exquisite Corpses.
No, it will be, but I wanted to find a word with X.
Yes.
I didn't want to say extreme because I think that's been overdone.
It'll be extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Or do you say extraordinary?
It depends. But there's context.
It'll be something going on because obviously with the Age of Revelation taking place and coming with that storyline, this is going to be a little fun time twist that's going to be going on. They've been announced a lot of what the books are going to be released, changing names and changing characters. And it's always a fun time when the X-Men do stuff like this. I always think it's very fun because I mean, the Age of Apocalypse, the first one of my favorite storylines of all time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What they did with that was really just had fun. And especially with how the X-Men and even that time in the 90s, everything's supposed to be so gritty and, anti-hero. Yeah. This was a nice break to get back to basics and just have fun with comics. And they really did a great job with this. I'm fully expecting big things happening here. The X-Men line, since coming out of the Krakoan era, has been, very, very solid. I would say 3 books that jump out to me are Uncanny X-Men, Storm, and Phoenix. I think that's like my top 3 of the X-Men line. And they every time they come out, you got to go get those books. They're just fantastic. But we have to talk about probably the panel for Marvel of the weekend. It is always their Comic Hall H moment. So, Tom, you want to talk about Marvel next big thing?
I get the next big thing. Wow.
I'm giving it
I
to
thought
you.
I thought he was going to keep it for himself. That's why.
Seriously, so did I. But this is it, folks. The biggest comic panel of the weekend. Join Editor-in-Chief CB Cebulski, VP and Executive Editor Tom Brevoort, Ultimate Editor Will Moss, and a lineup of superstar creators, including Jonathan Hickman, Ryan North, Stephanie Phillips, as they give fans a glimpse into the future of the Marvel Universe, including announcements for upcoming series and storylines that will have the whole industry talking. Plus, you're going to want to hang around again for the special giveaway comic at the end of the show. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't put over staying until the end enough, by the way, because if you've never been to a Marvel panel before, note you should stay to the end because they always give away something good. And a lot of times it'll either be a variant cover that you can't get anywhere else, or it'll be a book that doesn't come out for months.
Yeah. I remember last time at Next Big Thing, we had Blood Hunt #1.
Yeah.
Blood Hunt #1. We also did one of the Marvel ones. I can't remember if it was for that. It wasn't Next Big Thing.
No,
we had the Doom. We had Doom, the first of Tyrannosaurus Doom.
Yes.
We had the alternate cover for that. So I think it was Doom #10. I wanted to say the comic number was. I could be wrong.
No.
But it was a book that was already out, but an exclusive cover only to that event.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So like you want to stay, and we've gotten tons of other stuff. They always do great giveaways. Marvel knows how to really, and you learn a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Plus the lineup they have there, Jonathan Hickman, obviously Imperial, that has been the talk of Marvel fans right now, that event going on. Ryan North is doing amazing work in the land of Fantastic Four. I think his run, by the time it's all said and done, I know they just restarted the series with a new #1. Still, the stuff he's doing in that universe is very, very classic. And it's taken me back when I read it to like the iconic eras of Fantastic Four. And Stephanie Phillips, need I say more?
Doctor.
The reigning, defending, undisputed comics writing champion. She co-comics, let the pages hit the floor. She is literally, trust me, I have my Paul Heyman speech ready for when she returns. And she, like I say, one of comics' best writers right now, absolutely crushing it on Phoenix. Grimm by Boom Studios, which I know is coming to an end later this year. I mean, just everything she's been working on is on point. And if she's a part of something here at the Next Big Thing, expect it to live up to the billing, folks. No question about it. So this is going to be a panel, I think, if you're a Marvel fan and you're in San Diego, you need to be in attendance for, because they're not going to disappoint in any way, shape, or form. I'm expecting a lot of huge news coming out of this panel that's going to dictate the pace of Marvel for the next 12 months. And then last but certainly not least, we're talking about 12 months. We're talking about panels that are going to have the internet talking. And this is the Marvel Comics Ultimate Universe panel. So this will be taking place on Saturday, which I like how Marvel split up Thursday, Friday, Saturday for all the panels. So this, if you're not familiar with what is going on here, the Ultimates line has been absolutely wild, but probably gives you the best book from Marvel, in my opinion, that's Ultimate Spider-Man. But this panel is Marvel's growing Ultimate Universe lines continues to captivate longtime fans and new readers alike. Learn why Editor-in-Chief C.B. Sobolski, Ultimate Editor Will Moss, and some of the hit creators, including Jonathan Hickman, Dennis Camp, and Chris Condon, discuss the imprint's success while revealing the bold and unpredictable storytelling still on the horizon.
Ooh.
The countdown to the Maker's return is on, and the moment that has been anticipated since the start of the prepares to send the universe and the characters we've grown to love into a frenzy. Make sure you stick around to the end of the discussion to score an exclusive comic.
The Maker.
The Maker.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with this universe, the Maker, I mean, this is something they've been playing the long game for, no pun intended, with the Endgame title. I like the homage to Avengers Endgame with this. And trust me, if you know anybody that's been reading the Ultimates line, it is one of the best stuff that Marvel's been doing. Like some of it. It's just been absolutely incredible. I love Ultimate Spider-Man. I love the take they went with it. The Ultimates is wild, but it is phenomenal. Even the takes on Ultimate X-Men are, very interesting. Ultimate Wolverine, Ultimate Black Panther. Like, they have got some really cool stuff happening in this universe, and how they're sticking to the plan about when the Maker returns. This is going to be an event that I think comic fans are really, really going to be enjoying.
Maybe a loophole. Who knows?
Well, that's why we're going to have to pick them up at the shops and kind of see where we go. But literally, that is San Diego Comic-Con 2025 in a nutshell. So we'll kind of just wrap it up with this. Tom, Rich, I want to know, who do you think on paper right now? Give me your top 3 publishers that you think are winning the weekend, just based off what we've discussed.
Top 3 publishers? I mean, that's a rough one. That's up because it's hard to go against big 2. Because they're going to come and bring it.
Mhm.
But since I'm an indie guy, I'm just going to pick 3. I'm gonna set the big 2 aside and just say, hey, go see them anyways, because the next big thing is always worthwhile, and it's just whatever. So let me just pick top indie ones just because I want to shine a light out there. And the number 3 spot, and not because it's the least of them, but I mean, it could be more of a niche audience. Our good friends over at Mass Republic, they're always doing big things. Their panel is going to be super exciting. A lot of colorful wrestlers, because Lucha Libre, and then going to the booth is going to be next level. So if you're a wrestling fan, or if you're somebody who just loves, great characters and great books, make sure you stop there. Number 2 spot, man, this is a tough one because there's a lot of great things going on, but I am actually going to pick IDW Publishing, mixture of Godzilla and the Dark Line. Both are crushing it. Not saying anything bad about the Turtles, but if you're looking for something different, those are the 2. And then number 1, Dynamite Entertainment. I can't say it enough. Space Ghost Annual drops tomorrow as we are live tonight. And trust me, if you are not reading Space Ghost, you should be, along with Thundercats. And I mean, we could go down the list, but that's my top 3 because I'm picking nothing but indies.
All right, Tom.
Dynamite.
Okay.
Mad Cave.
Ooh.
Okay.
Image.
Ooh. I like it.
Solid picks right there. For me, it's tough because, like I say, this is actually a very, very stacked lineup for comics.
And let me put a comma on that. They're all amalgam, so they're not all top 3. Depending on who's saying what is usually goes to the top of my list. So, play well.
I mean, honestly, anyone you go to here that we've mentioned is going to be worthwhile. So trust me. But if I have to choose, like I say, I think Skybound's really got some cool stuff lined up. The Energon universe, and plus Robert Kirkman, if they're talking big announcements, they're going to deliver. Mm-hmm. Excluding the big 2, obviously, from this one. Image Comics is loaded, and then I got like a 3-way tie because I Mass Republic, I can't stress enough. Everybody needs to go check out. Everybody needs to go check out what they're doing there. IDW is loaded, and that is a stacked lineup of panels they have going on too. And then Boom Studios. I think
you picked the dark horse.
Yeah,
dark horse.
But no.
Well,
we love Dark Horse.
Well, see, like I say, Dark Horse has a solid lineup too. Like, it's tough. Like, it really is tough. But just going off of like what we discussed, I think that Boom. I know Power Rangers is going to be a big presence there. Something's Killing the Children is always doing big numbers there.
That's my line.
And yeah, sorry, I just stole your thunder. But I think for what they have lined up, I think it's going to be, like I say, they're no pun intended. They're the dark horse of Comic-Con. Like, they're kind of flying under the radar, I think. But from what we've seen, everybody here on this list that we discussed, you can't go wrong if you go to them. And not saying like you should choose one or the other.
No.
Get to as many panels as you can.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I was just going to say. How about we do the cop-out answer? Who's the winner? The fans,
Exactly.
everybody in
Thank
attendance,
you.
all of you that get to go and appreciate all this, the winner, and you're especially the winner, and we can go with the number one, Will Dennis. Just make sure you go see Will Dennis, one or both, and trust me, it will make your weekend. It will change your life. I'm just telling you, it will. It just happens that way. But no, seriously, I think that this is a stacked card for San Diego. It might not be as sexy on paper as we've seen some of the shows in the past. I know that there is some criticism on that. But once again, there's a reason behind that. DC already just hit their super home run with Superman. Marvel at the same weekend is coming out with their next big hit in Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm assuming we'll still get some crossover there as well. But the nice part about this is a perfect time to go investigate other things. We didn't mention a lot. Kevin Smith, of course, is back. You know, your usual staples are there. This is going to be a great time to go visit booths in other panels that you wouldn't normally go to because you're waiting in line at Hall H. You know what I mean? This, I can't stress it enough. So much cool stuff going on in comic books. There's a lot of great stuff I know going on in the realm of collectibles.
Yep,
I know you guys will be talking about it next Monday when everything gets announced and launched, but there's a lot of stuff out there that we know is coming out, especially because of friends that we know are going to be there. Go check out those friends. Go check out all of those places. Trust me, enjoy the con.
Yeah.
Because the fans are the biggest winner here, because I think the nice part about Hall H not being loaded to the gills as normal is you ain't waiting in line for Hall H.
Yep. And I think it's a great time to get familiar with the great world of comics. Like you said, we've given you an extra sized edition of Turn a Page tonight because there's so many great companies to go check out and support. And I think the easiest thing we can do is to leave you with is go enjoy the con this weekend. If you're watching at home, obviously shout out about the news that is making you excited to go to the comic shops and go pick it up. If you're at the event, and I can't stress this enough, be respectful to everybody there.
Thank you.
The workers are there volunteering to help you out and make sure you have a good time. Be kind to them. Kindness is the new punk rock for a reason, folks. So you want to make sure you're doing that at the building and online, because there's going to be just the wave of excitement that we need of positive vibes talking comics. Don't ruin it over some petty nonsense. Be respectful, be amazing, and be comic fans. So that being said, on behalf of Tom, Rich, and myself, we're going to turn a page on a little different note, because if you're at the comic shop and you have a great issue in your hand of something that you found when you were checking out what was going on at San Diego Comic-Con 2025, and you see somebody struggling to find something, hand yours off to them. Tell them to turn a page. We'll see you next week.
Shipwreck!
This program is powered by Fantasyverse, where manga, comics, and more collide. Check their website out, because it's not a dream. It's Fantasyverse. The content you've just watched is part of the Nerd Initiative Network. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to check out nerdinitiative.com, the home of pop culture positivity.